We would like to welcome you guys to tonight's Finance Committee meeting for June the 10th, 2024. Before we get into tonight's business, we have a special recognition of our Employee of the Month by Mayor Patrick Kell.
Miss Crystal Kime, would you like to step forward, please? Thank you. Let me talk about you for a minute.
Okay.
Crystal Kime is the Employee of the Month. She was selected as Employee of the Month for this June 2024. She has worked for the City of Muskogee for over 3.5 years and holds the role of Public Works Office Administrator in the Public Works Department. In her time away from work, Crystal has been planning her wedding. Congratulations. Where she will marry her fiancé, Marshall, in October. Together they have 4 wonderful boys to keep them busy and 2 furry companions that complete their family. They recently purchased a new home, and in their downtime, they cherish moments together, cheering on their boys at sporting events or family adventures together. Crystal was nominated by 6 of her peers for having a positive work attitude, always going above and beyond, and always working very hard. They said Crystal carries a huge workload, but is always there when they need her. She is an A+++ employee and is priceless. That means something. They're not kidding. Crystal, thank you for all that you do for the City of Muskogee, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And not very many people get comments like this, so
Thanks.
you're super fantastic. Thank you.
All right, if you stand at this time, we have our invocation by Council Member Melanie Crawford, followed by the flag salute.
Let us bow. Father, we come before you tonight as the council and city members to ask you for your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding of the things that you would have us to do. We pray that you would give us all the clarity that we need. We pray that things would be done decently and ordered. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Finance Committee, agenda item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of May 13th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Do we have any corrections, additions, or questions concerning our minutes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any final discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments, May 4th, 2024 through May 31st, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
The purchasing committee did meet this afternoon and approved the claims, and I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2995, declaring certain items of city property to be surplus to the needs of the city, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to dispose of the same as per the items listed, or take other necessary action.
GTD.
Yes, these are weapons that are no longer able to be used for duty. It'll give the officers an opportunity to purchase those as opposed to surplusing them to a gun distributor. and the officers have offered a better price than what both gun distributors offered for those. And then we in turn would use that money to purchase weapons to use on duty.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief?
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
C.B. Abel,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval to authorize the Muskogee Police Department to apply for, and if approved, accept the 2024 USPCA AKC Reunite K-9 grant in the amount of $7,500 or take other necessary action.
Chief T, we got you for this one as well.
I wonder where he was going.
It's just we had budgeted 2 K-9s for this new fiscal year and had applied for a grant for AP's group that does a lot of our police K-9s. Didn't expect to get that this soon, but we received notice a couple weeks ago that we were granted one of those, so that'll pay for one of our K-9s.
Thank you. Any questions?
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of a contract between the City of Muskogee and Hilldale Public Schools to furnish 2 uniformed officers to provide law enforcement security for functions and act as a school resource officer for the school district campuses or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bodenhammer.
Thank you. This is a renewal of our annual contract with Hilldale Schools. We provide 2 police officers, uniformed officers, and patrol cars to police the campus area. They reimburse us 75% of the salaries of those police officers. And this is just an extension of that, or a renewal of that contract.
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of change orders number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Muskogee Swim and Fitness Center renovation and remodel project with AC Owen Construction LLC in the amount of $59,837.15 for site improvements and installation of fire alarm system or take other necessary action.
Mr. Anthony.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. If you read the background on the change orders, I'll kind of run through each one of those real quick, just to kind of describe what you're seeing there and how we get to that $59,000 number. So on the west wall, moisture repairs, after removing some of the sheetrock on the west wall for repairs, there was mildew found in that area, so that entire wall was found to be in need of repair. On number 2, had a similar situation where it was unforeseen things. We often find that in our remodel projects where there was a pipe and wires that needed to be have a bump out built into the additional sheetrock right there above the south doors. Then on number 3, there was a previous reduction for our bid amount, so we took a reduction on the lobby flooring area, but what was not caught was the flooring that was spec'd out for the fitness center area was not up to the proper thickness, so that's a correction there. And then number 4 is the fire alarm system. We did work with the fire marshal in order to come up with a good solution to make our facility safer by taking out the non-functioning suppression piping and putting in a full alarm system, including smoke alarms in every space. So that's kind of a short explanation about what these are for, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. We would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions from Mr. Anthony? Okay.
Move for approval? Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval of the recommendation by the City of Muskogee Foundation Board of Directors reappointing Ren Stratton to serve as board chair for a one-year term beginning August 1, 2024, and ending July 31, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, as you know, by the bylaws, the City of Muskogee Foundation Board Chair serves a one-year term as recommended by the Foundation Board of Directors for City Council approval. Former Mayor Ren Stratton has served as, in that position, has been nominated to serve the again for another year. This is a recommendation from the Foundation Board. I'll be answering questions that I can.
Thank you.
Move for approval?
Second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Okay, one before we do this.
Yeah.
What is the criteria for putting someone on the foundation board? Like living in Muskogee, city limits, stuff like that?
So I don't have their bylaws memorized, I'll get those for you. I'm sorry to say, I don't know if anybody here does know all the criteria, but there are criteria for being on that board.
I just noticed that we started putting people on the foundation board that live outside of Muskogee and outside the county, and I was just curious about that, why we did that. All right, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
C.B. Abel,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hous,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 7 passes, and that will be our final item for the Finance Committee.
I'd welcome tonight's Public Works Committee meeting for June 10, 2024. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of May 13th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Everyone had a chance to review the minutes. Any recommendations for corrections or entertain a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
C.B. Abel,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hous,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4231A to rezone the property located at 2544 South 32nd Street, Southeast Section 4, Township 14 North, Range 18 East, to be rezoned from C2 General Commercial and A Agricultural to I1 Light Industrial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city or take other necessary action.
This time I'd like to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
Good evening, Chairman and Committee. Before I talk a little bit about the rezone request is brought to us by Old Dominion Freight Line. We have Mr. Matt Prosser here. He's going to take you through a little PowerPoint presentation of what they're looking to do with the site. And then after his presentation, I'll take over, talk a little more about the rezone and the criteria, and then we'll both be eligible to take some questions. So this time I'll let Matt come up and handle this. So go ahead and let me talk.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Matt Prosser, and I work for Hoyt & Briney for the civil engineering firm representing Old Dominion Freight Line. I was just hoping to take a second and kind of walk you all through what we're hoping to do and what Old Dominion is about. They're a premier less than truckload trucking company. They were founded back in 1934, currently have over 22,000 employees and over 250 service centers across the country. They pride themselves on having a well-maintained fleet of trucks and being a leader in sustainable business practice in their industry. What we're pursuing here today is rezoning from the commercial and agricultural to light industrial, which more closely matches the zoning and uses around the property and up and down the US 64 corridor, and the proposed use of a trailer relay lot, which is a permitted use in the I-1 zoning that we're pursuing. And then a trailer relay lot think Old Dominion is one of the only companies that builds these trailer relay lots. And they basically put it in between two freight terminals, and that allows truckers to meet in the middle and then swap their freight and go back. And so that basically just allows them to sleep in their bed at night instead of having to be out on the road. This map on the left side just kind of shows the general location along US 64. The map on the right is the city map, shows it out towards the edge of the city limits in a more industrial area. This is the city zoning map. You can see we're the one outlined in red. Straight to the north of us is existing I-1 zoning. To the south of us is the existing commercial zoning, which is currently being used as a truck repair shop. So our use should fit right in. This is the site plan that we prepared for the trailer relay lot. It's pretty much just a basic parking lot. It's fenced in. There's a gate that's operated by RFID that anytime Old Dominion truck pulls up, the gate just opens and pull in, drop their trailer off and swap out. And this is just that same site plan with the aerial overlay for better context. I think that's all I had. I can answer questions now, or if anybody had any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Proctor? Thank you very much.
No question? Thank you all for your time.
Mr. Peter?
We'll let the team get the PowerPoint pulled up here real quick, and then we'll run through it. So this will be done in two parts. There's a rezone component, and then there's a land use map component, which is item 4 this evening. So we're going to talk about two of these kind of in the same here, and we'll come back and we'll have you guys vote on item 4. But as Mr. Foster explained, the lots are currently zoned C1 in the C1 in the front, and then agriculture in the back. The future land use map calls for it to be zoned for residential use, but given the fact that ODOT is expanding Highway 69, that probably wasn't taken into account 10 years ago, and the fact that we're kind of going through the middle of our comprehensive plan and trying to reevaluating what the land use should be around it and the existing industrial use to the north of the property and the continued industrial use of a major U.S. corridor like that makes it a perfect location for this type of rezone to occur for this particular use. Which is why we agreed to work with them and request a land use map amendment in preparation of the rezone. So again, to the north of it, immediately you have that I-1 light industrial, which is accessory structures, which operate by legacy buildings. So they put their accessory structures out there, sell them on that site. To the south, it's just more similarly zoned vacant farmland. Even further south of that, there is a truck repair yard like we discussed. To the east, there is a single-family zoned subdivision on that side. Their proposed plan, because there's a flood zone on that far east side, and that's where that stormwater retention is going to go, it does create enough of a buffer zone that light and sound shouldn't be an issue, and it shouldn't disturb those single-family homes. And then to the west of it, across Highway 69, is outside city limits, but it appears to be more vacant farmland. So we are requesting that on both the rezone ordinance and the resolution that recommend approval for city council, and we'll take any questions we have, Mr. Foster.
We have no citizens signed up to speak on this agenda item, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Open for council discussion.
Good for approval.
Jody, can you go back to that previous slide? So where are the residential subdivisions at?
On the very far right, you see those little white and the little parcels. Yeah, little puzzle pieces. That's that residential neighborhood. But that flood zone extends, like you see there, that like tree line extends out. I mean, that's all going to be flood zone. That's going to be stormwater detention up top. You're talking multiple hundreds of feet there that would be more than enough, and then they're going, like, so they're gonna be fencing it in, per zoning code, which would keep out a lot of that noise and sound and light.
Thank you.
Do you have a motion? Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale. Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford. Yes. C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item 3, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4232A, rezoning the property located at 2109 Ward Street, Southeast Section 24, Township 14 North, Range 18 East, from R1 Single Family to I1 Light Industrial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city or take other necessary action.
Mr. King?
So this property is currently zoned R1 Single Family Residential. The zoning around it is somewhat similar. All of the property to the east, south, and west of it is zoned Single Family Residential. The property to the east and south is, as you can see, is just vacant land. There's the southern part is the Turner addition, and then there is I1 Light Industrial Manufacturing directly immediately to the north of it. This request does conform to the Muskogee Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map for industrial areas. So the idea was this whole area would be good for industrial because it's situated, amongst the railroad tracks. And the use is been requested. It's just going to be like a small commercial storage facility for this gentleman's business. So it conforms and is within the future land use plans guidelines, and so staff would recommend approval, and I'm happy to take any questions.
We have no citizens signed up to speak on this item, so we're going to close the public hearing. Any discussion from the council? Entertain a motion.
Second it.
Have a motion, second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item 3 passes. Item 4, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2985 to approve a land use map amendment to allow for the property located at 2544 South 32nd Street, Southeast Section 4, Township 14 North, Range 18 East, to be rezoned from C2 General Commercial and A Agricultural to I1 Light Industrial or take other necessary action.
At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
So this is that resolution I was talking about with referring to that 32nd Street rezone. This is just a resolution that would amend the future land use map to allow for this rezone to go through.
No one's signed up to speak on this item, so we're going to close the public hearing. Any comment, questions from the council? The motion?
Move for approval.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford. C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item 4 passes. Item 5, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of a specific use permit for the property located at 1617B North York Street or take other necessary action.
This time, we're going to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
So for this property at 1617B North York Street, it is currently zoned I1 Light Industrial. The property owner is requesting a specific use permit to operate a medical marijuana grow. Now, this facility is already being operated as medical marijuana grow and is considered a legally non-conforming use. When the council originally passed the ordinances in regard to medical marijuana, they were allowed to operate in this particular area, and then later with ordinance 4179A passed in 2023, the council limited the scope of grows to only be in agricultural zoning. But since this predated that, it was allowed to continue to exist as long as the use continued. So the use has continued since its inception back in 2018, and is simply just changing ownership, and our ordinance requires that anytime there's a change of ownership, that new owner has to get a specific use permit. And other than the legally non-conforming issue, that everything has continued to operate, like I said, there's been no lapse in operation, and so they're allowed to proceed and request a specific use permit, and staff recommends approval, and we'll take any questions.
So they are working, can I ask a question? Are they working as illegal? Are they legal right now, or are they not legal?
No, they're legal. So the term legal non-conforming use is essentially the same thing as saying someone's been grandfathered into a particular zoning district. Because the zoning districts have particular uses according to our use chart. And when City Council passed Ordinance 4179A, they restricted the use of medical marijuana grow to agricultural zoning. So anything else operating in any other type of zoning prior to that ordinance is now what's considered a legally non-conforming use or a grandfathered use. So they're legal by OMA standards and by city standards, and their use is allowed to continue. Now, for any reason they would have lapsed their use, then it'd be a different discussion. But since they never lapsed use, they're allowed to continue and be grandfathered in.
I'm a little familiar with this location. As a matter of fact, I've got property south of it. It has been there for some time. It has not had any complaints on smells or odors, and apparently, and I might be kind of right, I might be kind of wrong, but apparently, the gentleman right within the time that we kind of redid our ordinance there, purchased this business from another fella, and he came to start looking at his licenses or doing what he needed to do to go forward. It was like, well, this has been changed, it's been rezoned. Everybody else in there was grandfathered, but he wasn't in on the grandfather. So it's kind of a bad deal for this fella. This essentially is just continuing on what it was doing, and I think in this case it'd be appropriate to see this through.
And Mayor, if I can clarify the law on this, so our city ordinances and our state law allow for grandfathering. So once the business is established, is licensed by OMA, and is permitted by the city, it can continue to stay that way even if zoning changes. And that's what's happened with this one. It's been a continuing business. Zoning change should not affect this property. It should be grandfathered in.
So we're just cleaning it up?
Yeah, we're basically, yes.
Okay.
Just because there's a new owner, but it doesn't affect the facility.
On the specific use permits, are we still in 2024 able to allow grows in agricultural areas only? Can we make that kind of decision as a body?
Well, we have an ordinance change that I think happened in 22 or 23, that new grows have to be in agricultural areas.
Mm-hmm. And we can, as a body, make those kind of decisions?
Yes, we absolutely can. The state law authorizes us to do that, and then the body did do that, make that decision.
Thank you.
So this one has been here since 2018?
Yeah.
So we have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Any further discussion with the council? Entertain a motion.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melanie Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jared Creed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale?
Yes.
Item 5 passes. Item 6, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of a specific use permit for the property located at 117 North Junction Street, or take other necessary action.
This time we're going to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
So the owner of this property is requesting a specific use permit at 117 North Junction Street for a proposed medical marijuana dispensary. The property is properly zoned for a medical marijuana dispensary. The current zoning and use is C1 local commercial, and it's a old barber shop that's vacant. It's across from the Odo car wash right there on Junction in Okmulgee. When the planning commission heard this item last Monday, they recommended approval, and staff also recommends approval. Any questions?
I've got a question of curiosity. We changed, and I think that was a great idea, the rezoning of new grows to agriculture. On new marijuana retail facilities, is there a way for us to limit those if we chose to do that in some way?
I'll let Katrina answer that one.
No, we cannot regulate dispensaries. Just like we can't regulate pharmacies, fast food industries, those types of things is considered a normal commercial business now under state law. And they made it very clear in there, we cannot discourage or regulate dispensaries. So different than a pharmacy, under state law.
Is this being actively, is it grow right now?
So it's not a grow, it's a dispensary, it's a retail dispensary.
Oh, it's a retail,
Yeah.
but is it one right this minute?
No, it's an old barber shop that's been
Empty.
vacant. Yeah.
You know, the way things are, the way I understand it, because of the way the state law is and everything, is we can't vote this down no for fear of a lawsuit, a legitimate lawsuit.
That's correct. Yeah, state law is very clear on that. It is more or less discrimination.
Okay, thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So what kind of regulations do we have as a city that puts this, that, I don't know if this is the proper question, that says this is your guidelines that you have to build this building a certain way? Do we have those in place?
We do have guidelines set in by the International Building Code for commercial structures. So I mean, if it's a structure that's not at the National Building Code, when it goes by a certain occupancy, we can withhold, but it's going to be solely about the structure itself and like how it's built, the safety behind the structure. It's not really anything else we can regulate in commercial business unless they were to be like in violation of setbacks or, you know, something like that, which we would have caught. Now, does that really answer your question though?
Well, like, when we first started down this road, they had like regulations, they had to be like a vaulted room where they couldn't just come in and grab and go, or I guess like a safe room like system. And I don't know, and I've been out of this game so long, I don't know if it's still like that. You just have it like you can just walk in and it's all in glass doors and you pick out what you want like a candy store? Or do they have it like where you go like a true pharmacy where you gotta they deliver the stuff through a drawer or something to you and it's safe like that? I don't know. Do we have those kind of regulations where?
The state has regulations, the city does not.
If I remember correctly, we did a specific use permit because some of the dispensaries had a significant odor problem. And even though we could not say you can't do it with the specific use, we can say, but if you don't control the odor, we can take action.
Yes.
So that's why it's there, that we have that in place.
Yes. And it is excessive traffic, that type of thing. It disrupts other businesses.
And so because this is right next to a restaurant and different things like that, this gives us the ability to say, you know, we're going to allow for the dispensary, but you better, you know, you have to control odor, you have to control the traffic that, you know, for the businesses that are around it and different things like that.
And that's kind of my deal, because I'm not going to bring up another facility during this time, but it's the people that live around there. I just want to make sure that their quality of life is still the same, whether they're using this product or not, that they don't have to smell something they don't want to smell, and they don't want the behaviors that they don't want in that area. And I just want to make sure, do we have the teeth in our local government to prevent that, or do we got to like, okay, we got to vote yes because we can't vote no, I understand. But do we have teeth in our ordinances and stuff that says, if they don't follow these guidelines, that this is what's going to happen and we can't shut you down there?
They'll be in the public nuisance ordinances. So right now, we can't regulate.
I'm not wanting to regulate yourselves.
But like any type of business where we have excess disruption, you know, disturbing the public peace, public nuisance for odors, we have the teeth to enforce that.
So not really some serious teeth, but kind of nibbling teeth. So, okay.
Right, yeah, we only have the teeth that the state government allows us to have.
No. I just get a lot of phone calls already, and I haven't been on here for like 2 months, about smells and stuff from different places, and I'm like, this was before I ever got back on here, so I just want to see if maybe even, and this isn't the time, I'll do it later, but let's go ahead.
Any further questions from Mr. King? I'm going to take this time to close the public hearing. Any further council discussion? Roll call, please.
Move for approval.
Got a motion second, now roll call, please. Sorry.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
Stevie Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item 7, please.
Consider approval to renumber the following resolution. A resolution approving and authorizing execution of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Benefit Program application and required addendums, Blue Cross Shield exhibit to stop loss coverage policy, Prime Therapeutics required documents, and all other required documents, all to become effective on May 1st, 2024, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute all necessary documents for renewal and implementation purposes, from resolution number 2932 to resolution number 2979, passed by city council on February 26, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Mrs. Tracy.
This is a housekeeping measure. When the ordinance was passed by council back in February, it was given a duplicate number that had already been approved. The new number that will be assigned to that is the 2979, and it will just clear up our records moving forward. So I'll be happy to answer any questions and recommend approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
Stevie Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item 7 passes. Item 8, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2993, adopting a countywide multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bolden.
Hello, good evening. The City of Muskogee falls under the Muskogee County Multi-Jurisdiction Hazard Mitigation Plan. Muskogee County contracted with Meshach and Associates, who specialize in hazard mitigation plans, to update and prepare a plan. Meshach and Associates held several meetings over the last year where community stakeholders and the public were invited to learn about the plan and provide feedback. The 2024 Muskogee County Multi-Jurisdiction Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 and has been reviewed and approved by FEMA. Approving this resolution will allow the City of Muskogee to be eligible to apply for different grants, including the Hazard Mitigation Assistance Grants, and this plan will expire on April 16th of 2029, and staff recommends approval. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bolden.
So how does this coincide with the one that the Muskogee County does?
It's the exact same.
So y'all are joining forces?
Yes, the city falls under the county for this plan.
Okay.
Any further questions? A motion and a second.
A second.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
Stevie Abel? Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item 8 passes. Item number 9, please.
Consider the creation of a limited purpose subcommittee of the Public Works Committee to receive updates from HAP Associates regarding the 2024 Comprehensive Plan update, appointing a minimum of 3, not to exceed 4 members to that subcommittee, or take other necessary action.
Mr. King.
So, as we've discussed many times, comprehensive plan, we are undergoing those efforts right now to update that comprehensive plan. Most recently was done in 2013. We want to do our next one. Just a reminder, the comprehensive plan is, 15 to 20 year visioning of the city for land use regulation and how we'd like to see the city grow. Part of that is getting regular feedback from our consultant, HAP Associates, on their progress on creating the document and doing survey and data research. And so what's going to happen is We have a comprehensive plan advisory committee made up of community members that meet and advise on where we're going with the comprehensive plan. And we would like to do the same thing, that way the city council gets regular updates through a smaller subcommittee that doesn't have to meet in a quorum setting. And so what we're doing is that you guys, this committee would meet bi-monthly from now to the end of the year, starting at the end of this month. At those meetings, typically half will be either presenting the outcomes of some data and public engagement, such as what's coming up in June. It'll be the outcomes and the efforts of our public engagement and outreach that we've been doing over the last couple of months. And then as we continue down the road in August and October, we're going to be looking at visioning and missions for the statement as well, for the plan, as well as some preliminary documents for the comprehensive plan before it goes before the whole body at City Council at the end of the year for approval. And so it's really just kind of an advisory body that will receive regular updates so the whole council itself can stay updated through the entirety of the plan. And so we are recommending have this body create that subcommittee and to appoint 3 members that like to volunteer to be a part of that subcommittee to meet.
How often do we do a comprehensive plan?
So typically, comprehensive plan is a document that's usually about for 15 to 20 years, but sometimes updates are needed as often as every 5 to 10 years, depending on the needs of the community.
But this is the full-scale plan.
Yes, the last time we did one was in 2013, so we saw a need to do it again.
It's
a
pretty important deal.
Yes.
I'm prepared to propose some committee members if we can do that tonight. I'd like to propose a committee of Melanie Cranford, Dan Hall, and Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second that. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoops.
Yes.
J.B. Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item 9 passes. Item 10, please.
Consider approval to apply for additional funding through the Certified Local Government Sub-Grant from the Oklahoma State Historic Preservation Office for Historic Preservation in the City of Muskogee and set aside a city match in the amount of $35,463 or take other necessary action.
Mr. King.
So the Certified Local Governments Program assists local governments that adopt and enforce historic preservation ordinances to help strengthen their preservation programs. So yearly, we apply for a grant totaling $17,500 that runs on the federal fiscal year, so October 1st through September 30th. For the upcoming grant year, which will start on October 1 for fiscal year 25, we are going to be putting the focus of our preservation efforts on our downtown by getting it registered on the National Register of Historic Places. When you get something registered on the National Register of Historic Places, it makes it eligible for multiple tax credits and historic preservation grants through the National Park Service, which could really help revitalize our downtown and promote tourism. Typically, this process is very lengthy and very time-consuming and also very expensive to do. And so when the Oklahoma State Historic Preservation Office reached out to us knowing this was our proposed project for next year, they said that there is $53,195 available to help us out with this project, and so that would require a match of $35,463, which is a 60-40 match. And by providing the match and getting these grant funds, that'll help us go out for a proposal for a surveyor to come through downtown, do a complete comprehensive survey of all of our structures downtown, the boundaries of what is currently designated locally historic downtown, and to provide a full-scale report on what is eligible and what is not eligible and why or why not they're eligible, which takes a lot of archaeological resources and knowledge to really do that, and a lot of this like historian knowledge. And so those services can be very costly, and then the application and process for getting something just solely nominated to the National Register of Historic Places is a very time-consuming and costly process too. So if we have all of these funds now, we can go ahead and get started on that in July by going out for and looking for that consultant to consult on our downtown, and we'd be able to hopefully get a nomination fully submitted within 12 to 18 months rather than 3 years or more, because we'd have to be splitting out $17,000, or it's more like $10,000 over multiple years to try to get just piecemealed over time. And so this would just help us move a lot closer to getting that National Register status, which will just act like a badge of honor, and like I said, will really help promote the tourism and through redevelopment of downtown, because they'll have access to federal historic tax credits and other federal grants. So staff would like you guys to approve the request so we can continue efforts downtown.
Do we have any kind of plans in place, vision plans in place for what we might want that destination to be? And my second part of that question, have we identified what's classified as downtown as far as boundaries and so forth?
So we have classified, I want to ask the second half of that first. We have classified the central business district. We have boundaries set up in our zoning code of what classifies our downtown. It's the same area that's been locally designated by the Historic Preservation Commission as downtown. And so we'd be looking at the scope is roughly those same boundaries less the Arrowhead Mall area, because the Arrowhead Mall is going to hold no significant value for downtown. And then can you repeat the first part of your question again?
Well, you were saying, that this money could help us do, change downtown. Do we have some goals or any type of vision of what we would like to aim for?
Well, we would like to help not only get this on the National Register of Historic Places so that all of the businesses downtown are eligible for grants, or like the Muskogee Historic Revitalization Subgrant Program that's being offered through Neighborhood Building Neighborhoods. Right now that could be offered to all businesses downtown, but it's not, because the entire downtown isn't on the National Register. Only the small corner Cedars block at Main Street and Broadway is. And so only that little L of businesses are eligible, and by doing this, we would expand that scope. We'd be able to kind of piggyback off the Main Street's facade grant to help promote and grow and redevelop downtown, make it look nicer and prettier. And this can also help push towards other efforts. The foundation is trying to go through a downtown master plan currently. So this would just all help correlate with all those other efforts to help really bring our downtown back up to a place where people want to be, shop, and work.
So can you repeat what was the reason that we exclude Arrowhead Mall?
So the mall just doesn't hold any historic value. It was built in the 80s. It just wouldn't contribute to the overall designation of downtown, because when you have a district, there are properties that are contributing and non-contributing. And so instead of being like, hey, go tell us that this can't be contributing, we're just probably will end up excluding it as part of the overall. So the boundaries we're kind of looking at right now would consist of the Depot Freight District, so the Elgin north to Court Street from Main Street to 7th.
We're thinking about going 12th Street.
Well, no, just because it's currently outside of what we've designated as our central business district. So we want to kind of constrain it to that.
Concerns me. There's some Broadway shopping center areas, the bank and everything, that kind of concerns me, that we have to consider. There's a lot of business in the downtown area that starts there on 12th Street. Mm-hmm. But I hear what you're saying.
I wouldn't have to agree with Deputy Mayor Reed on that, because I know of one medical clinic that's built in 1907, at least part of it, but that's not, consider those areas too. But, I mean, even if you go out, to me, I feel like downtown starts more at 12th Street. It just looks naturally like it starts at 12th Street, and I think it'd be kind of hard to say that, hey, you guys can't apply for any of this whenever they keep their bid. I feel like they keep their center looking really nice and everything. I would agree with you on that. On the west and even going east, it stops like you're missing Zomac Music. To me, that's somewhere, tell him that he doesn't apply for, he can't apply for it either.
Well, Zomac is actually, that property, the central business district, runs out to about C Street, on the, was that east side of the railroad tracks.
I know previously on the side grants, they were excluded on that. They said they didn't.
Yeah, so like our focus is, we're gonna take our existing central business district and our existing locally designated historic downtown and make that the focus. Now, if we wanna present this to, the Historic Preservation Commission and they say, hey, well, let's include these parts of downtown too as a part of the area study, I mean, it's something we can do, and that's something we can also always talk with our consultants about. If we can get this money to do that project quicker, is be like, hey, you guys are obviously the experts, the historians and the archaeologists, so, what do you guys think? And so those are all things we can always take into consideration later down the road, but.
So I have a question. If these businesses are deemed in this historic area, how will you designate the funds? Based on size of the business, or all that for the grant?
All of the funding that businesses should be eligible for would be coming from the federal government, federal historic tax credits and national grants from the National Park Service. This money would help us do our work with through the Historic Preservation Commission to go out and identify the areas that are eligible and that would be contributing.
I just wanted clarity on that, because the way it sounded from the beginning, it sounds like you're going to apply for this grant, you're going to have money, and then they can apply for that money. So I wanted to specify that.
Yeah, this is, to give you a little more background about the Circle Governance Program, the focus is on preserving downtown, and so through that we also do education. And so we print materials and do new, like we just worked with Main Street to redo an historic downtown brochure, which was funded through the CLG fund. So we do more things than just like these survey projects. We do continuing education for the community as well as historic property owners. So there's a tremendous benefit to continuing to be a part of the Serve Our Local Governance Program and applying for this funding.
Any questions for Mr. Keith?
So just a point of clarification, this is requesting a match from a matching grant fund.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Any further discussion? Entertain a motion?
So moved. Second?
Got a motion is second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
C.B. Abel,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hous,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item 10 passes. Item 11, please.
Consider approval of the recommendation from Cowan Group Engineering to award the lowest and best bid for the Muskogee Swim and Fitness Center roof replacement project number 2024002 to Heritage Hills Commercial Services in the amount of $298,500, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed.
Good evening, Chair, Committee. The scope of this project will include the demolition of the existing built-up roof system on the Swim and Fit Center, addition of a new thermoplastic polyolefin roof, which is a TPO type roofing system, rigid insulation build-up for the drainage, new downspouts, new coping caps for the existing parapet walls, and new flashing for all roof penetrations coming through. Staff does recommend approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Reed. So questions for council?
Is this to help out the water leaks that did all the damage?
That is correct.
And so when we're looking at this, you had two people to do a bid for this process?
That's correct.
So, wow, that's a lot of money difference between the two, really.
Big difference. What we had to do is qualify. Either way, you have to qualify the bidders. And when you have the low bid, you also need to qualify them to determine if they can actually finish the project. And the engineer reviewed them and had a conference with them to determine if they had the means to finish the project and had a history of basically finishing projects in a timely manner, and they did. He recommended approval on this project.
So are engineers the one that's recommending these people?
That's correct. Most of our projects are engineered and approved and recommended by engineers.
Okay. I'll keep my comments to myself on that today. So I'm just concerned about the money amount that is that far apart on a bid.
Right.
And I'm very hesitant about coming back with about 15 change orders after this is over with, because then they go, oh, we need to spend more money because we didn't get it properly in the first place.
I understand. We internally, we also qualify the bidders. The roof on the Swim and Fit Center is 21,000 square feet. A normal TPO system is about approximately $10 a square foot. So you got about $210,000. That would allow for about $90,000 to demo the existing roofing system. So, you know, there's no guarantees about change orders, but we felt confident that the project could be done for that amount of money, and it was a good qualified contract.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that one down in my book. I'll check on it later.
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
And a motion is second, no further discussion, roll call please.
Tom Martindale. Dan Hall. Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item 11 passes. Item 12, please.
Consider approval of final payment to TLS Group Incorporated in the amount of $42,902.99 for the U.S. Highway 62 and Country Club Road traffic signal improvements, project number 2023004, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves.
This project was to remove and replace the traffic signals at the intersection of Country Club and Shawnee Boulevard, Shawnee Bypass. The project also included luminaires to light the intersection, new traffic striping, and protected turn lanes in all directions. These signal improvements improve the safety and traffic movements through the intersection. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation did provide $250,000 to the project. This project was reviewed and approved by the engineer of record, Wes Stewart of Hub Engineering. Staff does recommend approval, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
The signal lighting is awesome. And it will be really awesome when they widen the intersection.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yes, I was going to say, I'd like to remind this is phase one of the two-phase project. The second phase would be to widen the intersection.
Well, not only I, but a whole bunch of our citizens are real excited about that.
I second it.
Have a motion is second. Any further discussion? Roll call please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item 12 passes. Item 13, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Oklahoma Natural Gas in the amount of $155,958.78 for the relocation of 1,423 linear feet of gas line pertaining to a stormwater project for the city of Muskogee, located on Country Club Road, approximately 500 feet north of Chandler Road, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed.
Yes, thank you. So I do have a PowerPoint that goes with this, if we can get that pulled up, but we'll go ahead and proceed with that. So this is for the final pay for the gas line relocation down Country Club North. So we do have a culvert project going in there, and that is at the tail end of the Civitan drainage basin. That drainage basin affects basically, if you can picture the map in your head, from the Country Club and Chandler intersection to the northwest up to Civitan Park. So here we go, we have some visual aids here. So this is part of the Civitan drainage basins we were discussing, and we've had consistent stormwater issues in that area, and what we want to do with this project is open up that tail end of the drainage to allow that water to evacuate faster. During this project, the road is going to be widened from the Country Club and Chandler intersection down to those apartments at the bottom of the hill. So by increasing the size of that culvert, we allow the water to flow more efficiently, and this project is funded from the 2017 Clean Water State Revolving Fund Civitan Drainage Basin Project. So here's a map of the area. You'll see in the middle we have a shaded location. That's the area That is the total project area where the road will be widened, and that red circle is the area of the culvert out in front of the mini storage. So where we stand on this is the utility relocation. So we're here to do the final pay for the gas line. So that has just wrapped up. OG&E, AT&T, and the fiber companies anticipate their utility relocation wrapping up in mid-June. So that would allow this project to potentially be ready to bid mid-August. And currently this project sits with our engineer as he reviews and updates those plans. He's reviewing the quantities currently. During this project, there's going to be a temporary road around the construction site to allow for traffic to flow, although it will be slightly impeded at the time. And this project, we'll do our best to work around the school schedule, but due to the length of the project and the school's calendar, some work will be taking place during the school year. All that being said is just to remind the council of this project and to update the new council members on why we're doing this gas line relocation. So what we ask approval for tonight is the final payment to ONG for relocating that gas line. And we do recommend approval.
Could you, to the next picture after this big culvert, the picture of the street widening. Okay, so I can see where the culvert will be, and I'm just curious here. I'm just trying to learn. Where is the water flow gonna go? You're making me dizzy.
Yeah, I'm not touching, but so the water flows from west to east, and it eventually
straight in line.
Yeah, so in the picture you can see that there's some streams already there, and there's already a culvert under the road. So that culvert is not going to go away. We're just upsizing it to better drain the area. So no flow of water will be changed.
We'll go. Can you find that?
Maybe.
We'll hold our breath.
There we go.
Hold our breath. Okay, so it looks to me, if you kind of look through the woods, you can see drainage. What would be a stream or something?
Yeah, it follows along in the tree line. You can see it right there.
So that's where all that drainage water is going to go.
Yes, that's where it already goes.
Right.
So this just allows it to get there more efficiently and alleviate some upstream problems.
Alleviate some bottlenecks.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. I've
And
always
this
wondered.
is just right down the street from, right up the street from where we had Chandler Falls, where the waterfall kept running for years.
Yes, it's an unrelated project.
Chandler Falls, okay. I was just making sure for reference.
Thank you.
Did we just resurface that road a while back? How long has it been?
It's been a while, and during that process, the micro seal did pick up and stop on both sides of the project area. So we also have a Country Club South project in front of Creek Elementary. That micro seal picked up at the terminus of each of these as to not do it and tear it up.
Just thinking about being frugal with the city's money.
We are being responsible with it.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.P. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item 13 passes. Item 14, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Cook Consulting LLC in the amount of $105,795.52 for Smith Ferry Orchard Parkway Culvert, project number 2022031, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves.
The scope of this project was to remove and replace 3 48-inch corrugated metal storm water pipes. The pipes ran west to east through the project approximately 500 linear feet. The pipes were replaced with reinforced concrete stormwater structures, 10 foot by 3 foot, which you'll see in this clip right now. A small portion of Orchard Park was also associated with the curbing, were removed and replaced to facilitate the installation. Poured in place inlet and outfall structures were also added. The engineer of record, Jacob Burton of Olson Engineering, reviewed and approved the installation, and staff does recommend approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is this the area out there right across from Hilldale High School?
2 blocks south, yes.
And they had like a sinkhole problem out there. Is this related to that?
That is
This corrected that sinkhole problem, yes.
Okay. Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melanie Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jared Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale?
Yes.
Item 14 passes. Item 15, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2997, a resolution approving and adopting an amendment to the Muskogee Medical Center Authority bylaws to allow trustees to serve 2 consecutive terms of 7 years each, and to allow trustees to reside outside the Muskogee city limits within 100 miles or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bohannon?
Thank you. This item is from a March 26, 2024 meeting of the Muskogee Medical Center Authority, and their minutes reflect that this was properly voted on and approved by the Board of Trustees. Right now, they're having difficulty finding qualified candidates to continue filling the board. The board right now, each trustee serves a 7-year term. This would allow them to serve a second 7-year term if they want to. It also puts in a limit outside of the city limits up to 100 miles for qualified trustee members. The current trust indenture does not list any kind of geographical limitations, and so this would add that limitation. And we recommend approval. Move for approval?
Second.
I got a question. And I thought y'all might figure it out anyway because of my earlier question. We can't find anybody to serve on our foundations inside the city limits, or at least in the Muskogee County.
This was for people like a long-term time city resident, businessman who moved out to the lake, and they're looking to keep some of the original people who made the original deals with the original hospital and then St. Francis. You know, when we lost Jim Blair, we lost a lot.
Yep.
So we're looking to keep some of those original board members, and this was done specifically to try to keep one very, very experienced board member.
And the only problem is it opens the door for later on for us to have a guy go, all right, something happens to him, then we got another guy's 99 miles out that's not on the board, then we go, yeah, we can pick him up, our guy out of Tulsa. Y'all can all vote for it tonight. I just disagree that and I love the guy, I probably know who you're talking about, but guys, it's Muskogee Foundation, it's Muskogee money, it's Muskogee people. I just don't see letting people outside of our area be on these boards. It's Muskogee people. They make decisions for the people in Muskogee. And I know that he's probably a longtime resident, but what about the next guy that takes his place that's not, and that lives in Tulsa or in Cherokee County or somewhere? We need people that have an invested interest, and that's the only reason I'm saying this, not about this guy, but we need people that are invested in Muskogee, that live around Muskogee, that know what's happening here, that knows what's going on in their day-to-day lives.
How many board members is on this trust?
Chairman Gibbs is here. She might be able to answer that question. How many board members do you have now? 7? So this would allow for, so any member that's appointed in the future would still have to be approved by the board. And this is, I just want to make clear that you understand this is not for the foundation, it's the Muskogee Medical Center Authority, which is different than the Muskogee Foundation.
I understand everything you said. I just disagree with the 100 miles. I think it should be Muskogee, or at least, I mean, I don't care about 15 miles, but 100, 30, 20, I disagree with. They need to live around Muskogee close enough that they know what we're going through.
I've got a question. How long do we anticipate this authority being? Do we anticipate it going on for years and years and years, or do we anticipate it ending at some point?
that's kind of hard to say right now, because, as you know, Trina, you may want to speak to that on the.
Well, we're trying to do some procedures that may wind some of that up, so we don't anticipate long-term.
Okay. And so, for Counselor Hall, it may very well make all of that moot.
That's our expectation.
It will be no more.
What kind of cash flow we're talking in this?
I couldn't give the exact figure right now, but I can tell you that the gentleman we're talking about has been off of the board for probably a year to year and a half, and probably has attended every board meeting to give us his input, and his expertise on the Muskogee Medical Center Authority is absolutely invaluable.
Is there a way we can make a stipulation in this that we can leave him on there, but if he's replaced, that it's by somebody that's within the area? Without it being 100 miles and leaving it out there for forever?
That would be up to the Muskogee Medical Authority Center, so what we're doing is taking what they already approved at their board and then reducing it to writing in a resolution. So that's something they would have to take.
But then again, I'm only one vote up here, so.
Doesn't the council also approve the members to the medical authority board?
And we have a council member on the board who did vote for this.
Yes, sir. Mr. Reed's on the board, so.
Can it not limit how many members can live this far out? I mean, I'm gonna agree with Mr. Hall, you get, 3 or 4 people on there that has outside interest. I mean, would that happen? It maybe not, but you're opening the door for it to happen, we can put the restraints on it now, so. Sorry.
Would you be happy if it was 50 miles?
No, I'm just
No,
saying.
it's about the I'm not against that person being on there. It's just that I don't want anybody outside the Muskogee being on some of these boards, because they represent us and it's about our community. The person you're talking about, I would make a stipulation for him. I just don't want that 100 miles to always be on this item. I want it, if it's a one-time thing, I'll vote yes. But if it's going to be on there after this, I'm no. I just can't do it.
Katrina, could you meet with the representatives and figure out how to write language into accomplishing our goal? Because this gentleman's serving as a consultant, really, and he's needed. And aside from that, I think that, at some point this is going to wind down. Maybe sooner rather than later.
Okay, we have, we have, Tammy just informed, we have a motion and a second, so we have to vote on that motion.
Well, then, if we've got a motion and a second, we can vote it down and then start over. Correct?
The board, can I say something? The board votes for these people. If we approve it also, so I wouldn't think the board would approve 6 people on there that all live 100 miles away. I would think we would have enough,
Right.
you know what I mean, in their opinion, because they don't want 6 or 7 people on there from 100 miles away.
As council, we appoint the majority of the board members.
Right.
Well, I understand what those gentlemen are saying, and I also understand that I think it's all moot.
Like you said, it's not a long-term thing.
And we do need.
I make a
proper
motion, we approve it.
Okay?
We have a motion on the floor.
We've got a motion.
We're just ready to vote. We're ready to vote.
And I will say this, I understand, Dan, what you're saying about Muskogee's interest, but we gotta also realize that there are people who patronize our Muskogee Regional Hospital from other surrounding areas.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so, I understand what you're saying, we need Muskogee people, but our hospital is like regional for this area.
And I understand that, but this foundation is not regional. It was part of the money left over from the sale.
Most definitely.
So it's not a regional foundation. So I think that we're getting way too out there as far as putting people on some of these foundations and funds, allowing them to get into our city and use our money to probably do something else with it. Not saying this guy is, but I'm just saying that bothers me that we can't find qualified people. What you're telling me, is out of 36,000 people, there's not a qualified group of people that can run this.
There's no one like him.
No, I realize who you're talking about. But there's other foundations that have gotten people put on them outside of our Sitt County that I'm upset about right now too. So this is just me being boisterous about this, but you got a second and a motion, so go ahead.
There's no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
No.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
No.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item 15 passes. Item 16, please.
Consider approval of 9 annual outside water agreements with the following wholesale water users: Rural Water District Number 1, Rural Water District Number 2, Rural Water District Number 5, Rural Water District Number 6, Rural Water District Number 9, Haskell Public Works Authority, OK Public Works Authority, Porter Public Works Authority, and Taft Public Works Authority, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bonehammer.
Thank you. These are outside water contracts that we do with small towns like Haskell, which is actually now a city, Taft, and then the rural water districts. It's an annual contract. They pay the same rate that we require for the cost that we have in the water. And I have breakdowns, find them. If anybody has any questions about gallons and that type of thing, but no one this year has asked for an increase in water, so everything's staying the same. We're just renewing the contracts.
And what they pay is essentially our costs to produce and send out.
Yes, okay, per law, per state law, they have, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to understand.
Any questions for Ms. Bonehammer? No further discussion. Roll call, please. Oh, I need a motion. Need a second?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Now, no further discussion. Roll call, please. It's only been an hour.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item 16 passes. Item 17, please.
Discuss the animal control ordinances and enforcement of said ordinances within the city of Muskogee, or take other necessary action.
Deputy Mayor Reed?
Yes, thank you. And I'm not trying to put my ward down in any fashion, but I've often joked and said that, you know, some areas have pets, and in my area, we have dogs. And what I mean by that, I have a problem that I see, and I get a lot of calls and concerns about dogs roaming the area. I live right off of the trail area, and I see wild dogs. I'm calling them wild dogs because they rip and run up and down the street, chase people up and down the trail. There's oftentimes where animal control is called. I've seen animal control come and pick the dog up and county, take them back to their houses and put them in the backyards. As soon as the animal control drives off, the animal's right, the dog is right outside the gate. So, you know, I just wanted us to look at the ordinance, direct staff to look at the ordinance and see, you know, what the language is, if it's something that we need to update, and also put some enforcement in there for animal control to better clean up the roaming dogs in the neighborhood. I am crying because I am a victim of a pit bull attack a couple of years ago. Myself and my mother was attacked by a pit bull, and so it's not a fun feeling, especially when, you know, you have nice parks in the neighborhood and kids playing in the neighborhood, and you have the wild dogs, and it's a going thing these days. I'm not talking about little chihuahuas, I'm talking about pit bulls that can take a really deep plug out of you. So I just wanted us to take a look at our current ordinances and our enforcement, and that would be something I would direct staff to bring us back within a time frame.
God forbid it to be little kids, those dogs attack.
We do have one citizen signed up to speak on this item. So I want to call your name, come up to the podium and just give us your name. Kasica? You will have 5 minutes.
Okay, I was here once before talking about this, and I agree with Deputy Reed about these dogs on the loose. I'm referring to Article 2, Section 1432 of the city ordinances, where it says the animal control officer may cite the owner of such a dog or other impounded animal if ownership can be determined to appear in municipal court to charge as a violation of this chapter. A dangerous dog loose on the streets, a dangerous dog across the street from me faced no citations or fines even after this pit bull was reported 8 times. And I have August the 2nd, November 21st, December 7th, December 13th, twice, January 7th, and March the 13th of 2023 and 2024. And these are the times I was home. I don't know how many times this dog and these other pit bulls were loose, but those are the ones that I recorded. And on March the 13th, an animal attack did occur right in front of my house. The victim was able to walk away with his dog. But when animal control came and the police officers came, there were 4 squad cars and 2 animal control. They didn't take the dog. And so I just could not understand why, if we have these ordinances, why wasn't the dog picked up? So I was asked to appear in city court as a witness in court. The dog owners plead not guilty to dog on the loose charge. Not sure of this charge, but another hearing was set for April the 17th. The dog owner's lawyer was ill, and a new trial was set for the 22nd. The case was dismissed due to technicality. I showed the police a video, and they tossed it out. On April 17th and May 22nd, I went to city court, City Hall, and I tried to get answers from anybody I could talk to, the mayor, city attorney, city manager. Nobody was available on both those times. So I don't know if this case can be reopened, but if it can and be investigated, I think that these people need to be held accountable for what happened. On Section 1496, a pit bull needs to be quarantined, especially if there's been a bite. There have been numerous complaints about animals running loose by other citizens at this council, and nothing was done on animal control's part. So it doesn't appear that animal control is doing their job, and this is my consensus as well as theirs. I'm wondering what's happened to the justice system in Muskogee, and I'm here to ruffle some of your feathers. I'm going to test your EQ tonight because I have been bewildered and frustrated by what has happened over the past month, over the past year and a half in my neighborhood. As an Indigenous woman, I could have played the race card, really could. I could have gone to my tribal newsletter and printed an article about this city and give them all the details about how there's no justice here. After all, the low-life owners who escaped a serious indictment without consequences were white. Their attorney was white. The animal control officers and the police who came on the 13th of March were white. The judge was white that dismissed the case. And you guys, mayor, city manager, city attorney, you guys are white too. But I don't believe in the race card. I don't think that it's going to bring justice. I don't believe in social justice or mediation. The bottom line is the ordinances pertaining to dangerous dogs needs to be enforced. More muscle put to it, like he was talking about teeth. I believe this dog attack could have been prevented if the ordinances were upheld. And because there were no consequences for these dog owners, I believe another attack is imminent. And so I do have some stats. I don't know if I have time to read it, but pit bulls are in the top 5 of the most dangerous dogs that bite. In 2021, 249 children were killed by pit bulls. triggers for a pit bull, or you just go into their territory. Well, this pit bull on my street thinks that my street and yard is his territory. And so that's why I called.
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy.
Okay.
Your time is up.
I have more, but you guys can do your own search.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm just directing staff, no action. I'm sitting on this item, just directing staff to come back to us, provide council with maybe some recommendations on the ordinances, and definitely would like to see some more enforcement when it comes to our animal control responses.
Yes, sir, I will get that prepared and present that in Public Works Finance in July.
Yes, that'd be fine.
No further comment and discussion. That concludes tonight's public works meeting.
Okay, I'll now call to order tonight's special call, City Council, June 10th, 2024. Roll call.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jerry Freed.
Here.
Jamie Stout. Here. Tracy Moose.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery. C.D. Abel.
Here.
Melanie Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Item number 1.
Consider approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Muskogee and the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 95, to make a one-time change to the collective bargaining agreement for the July 2024 shift bid process and the subsequent shift change date as a result of manpower concerns, or take other necessary action.
Mayor and City Council, this is a request for putting off our normal shift change. We're about 45 days from entering a critical phase of loss of officers. The largest loss of police officers in one time that I've seen in my 37 years. And it's going to be critical by the end of August, first part of September, when we lose this next round of officers. So what this particular item does is allows us to put off the normal shift bids, which would be taking place right now, and start in July, so we can get an extra month's worth of use out of the officers that are while they're here, and then put off our till we kind of dust settles and see who we have left after this exodus. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I have a question. Is there a major reason for the exodus?
Yes, the amount of money that Highway Patrol is paying for officers. They've changed some of their criteria. Used to, we could combat it a little bit because they had to go through the full agenda or through the full training. Now they've got what they call a bridge academy, where they shorten that up for certified officers that come into their academy.
Could any of it be old moldy working conditions and old broken down car seats?
There's a lot of reasons. Those could be some of the reasons. Money obviously is another thing. Most of these officers that we're losing are some of our new, younger officers. And with the amount of money that the state started paying them last year, we just can't compete with that.
Chief T, what does it take, how long does it take a guy to get vested here, as far as like just a plain officer, never, no rank change, nothing else, just officer? What does he top out in 7 years? Ballpark.
Ballpark 76, I believe, 75, 76.
So we're starting at the lower part of the state.
We start out our officers at around 51, 52. After the end of their probationary year, they'll go to 54. Highway Patrol, they can start out in the 60s and cap out in the 90s in 8 years.
And that's what we're against. Broken Arrow, Tulsa, they're all in that same ballpark. You know, and we just need to figure out where to come up with some more money to give to our employees, because that's what our problem is that it takes 9 years here. If a straight officer tops out in 9 years or 10 years.
And we just changed that last year's contract at nine steps.
Yeah, so 9 steps, and you're still not competing with the departments that we're competing with, so.
And the biggest problem with this one is the number. I mean, we've never lost this many officers at one time. And of course, obviously, you all know the issues with law enforcement in general across the country. Nobody's wanting to be police officers anymore. So that's obviously this issue, and the item we have on the next agenda is a way, hopefully, to try and draw some new faces.
What's your projected number?
Pardon me?
What's your projected number?
We fully anticipate losing 6 in the next 45 days, at least.
They're hard to find.
We're already 4 down.
Did you say most of these are younger than have been here very long?
2 to 5 years. But, you know, the bad thing is you can't blame them, you know, for going, they're better in their family, they're better in, they can make more money immediately. And they cap out making even more money quicker. We've also got a proposal. I did a news interview. For whatever reason, Channel 6 picked this up today about the increase on the incentive, and I talked to them about that as well. Also, hopefully trying to work on what's called a lateral transfer, working with the unions, hopefully to be able to work something there out to where, again, it would be another possible way of drawing more officers from other agencies.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Langley.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item number 2.
Consider approval to amend City Council Policy 3-1-4, Muskogee Police Department recruiting and hiring incentives, or take other necessary action.
And this is an increase. We currently have a $5,000 bonus just to be hired by the police department, and a $10,000 bonus if you're a CLEAT certified officer. This just does away with the initial $5,000 bonus and increases our CLEAT certified bonus up to $15,000. Our reason there, one of the other things that we put in place is normally we'll have a hiring process, usually in the spring and in the fall, and get various numbers of officers that'll go through those 2 hiring processes. The other thing we put into place recently was if you're CLEAT certified and you apply tomorrow, within 30 days, we will get you through that process. So we literally have a hiring process for CLEAT certified officers every month if and when we have new applicants. And hopefully this will be something that will generate some interest, as well as I'm excited about the story on Channel 6. I think that will go out obviously to all eastern Oklahoma, and that increase I'm hoping will be enough to spur some interest in our department. The reason we did the 30-day every month thing is because that's the quickest way for us to be able to get police officers on the street. Otherwise, from the time if you hire a new police officer that's never been through any training, it's typically about a year before they get to the streets. We can cut that down to about 4 to 5 months if it's a CLEAT certified person. And depending on how good they are, we could even cut some of that time down as well. So that's the hope, is to be able to generate some interest with the CLEAT certified officers that's around.
Does it help if they're military?
Well, that was one of the things, when I talked to the manager about the original and the 5 years, or the $5,000 and the $10,000, was to try to use that 5 more to lure some military, but it hasn't been real successful. So I think right now, when we basically brainstorm every Monday on our staff meetings about what can we do, any new ideas about trying to find ways of getting officers. So this is just one we thought, something else we could try.
Are you going to any of these schools, like colleges, for the collegiate program?
We have people, I get emails all the time with new recruiting and retention seminars and things that people want to sell us, programs, all that kind of stuff. I read those
all the different articles from different things other agencies are doing. And not only are we doing them, but for the most part, we've been doing them ahead of everybody else. We were one of the first ones in the state of Oklahoma to do the $10,000 bonus. Now there's multiple agencies in the state that do the same thing. And as far as I know, we'll be the first to do the 15 if it's approved.
So do you offer any incentives for retention, like for the officers that are
It's
here?
a question that comes up all the time. That's between the council, the city manager, and our union. We would love to have the ability to do that.
There are some, and longevity pay is one, and there are, within the contract, when officers reach a certain number of years, they get additional vacation bonus time.
So
they do have some incentives for staying longer.
So I just say, I mean, it doesn't look like it's working though. If we're losing them by 4 and 6 at a time, what can we do moving forward for the officers that we have to offer them some sort of incentive? I mean, to me, even as an educator, being here prior to the big push for housing for educators to come in, what about people who are already here who are doing that same exact job? And I work with a person that is fresh out of school and they're getting a $10,000 incentive, and I've already invested in this community, and they're going to come in making or having more than I'm having. And I think that is an issue with morale of other officers that have been here and put in, I mean, that kind of work. What kind of incentives can we give to our officers that we already have that are working hard so that we keep them?
And that's one of the things that I spoke about with regards to the GEO bond. I'm very excited about that. I think our guys are very excited about that as well, to have, you know, obviously new equipment, cars that will get you where you're going, and a new building that will, you know, something to be proud of. And you know, then obviously it comes down to money a lot of times, and we're not close to being able to match with what we're going to.
I just think that's something we need to look at with this number of officers leaving, like we've got to do something.
And the problem that even I have is when you hire a younger officer in, and even if he's already pre-certified, is that you're painting, I don't pay what Johnny pays, like $40,000 a year, but then he looks over here and goes, and he's got to work probably 15 years to make $60,000, where he can look right here and go, hey, Broken Arrow, if I go there tomorrow, I'm going to make $60,000 now, and then in 9 years, I'm going to be making $98,000.
Right.
So
Broken Arrow's up to 104. Is where their officers get. Just their patrol officers. I just want to get the facts out.
I totally get those numbers, but I'm saying for people who live here and who are not trying to go anywhere, I think we need to incentivize so that they feel appreciated. As you offer something like this, I would come here for this. But I mean, people who already live here, what do they get as people come in for this? Just a thought.
And several years ago, that's what we tried to do, is bring the pay up and everything to the midpoint and everything. But we're still falling short because everybody else goes, look what Muskogee did. Okay, we're going to do this, and now they're up here.
Right.
Where we were fighting to get with them, now they moved up higher. And it takes tax dollars, factories, retail development. You know, we got to have the money, get the money to move this forward, to be able to pay like that, and we don't have that tax base like we need.
Come over, approval.
Second.
I have one question, Chief T. So this is the 5-year commitment. They get to retain the entire bonus. If they leave before the 5 years, there's a part they have to repay.
Yes, sir.
Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We had a roll call, I guess.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flanders?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 3.
Consider approval to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with the Muskogee City County Port Authority, and if necessary, to negotiate and execute a 30-day extension extension of the current professional services agreement or take other necessary action.
All right, so we have reached a point where we were very close with our friends at the City County Port Authority for our contract. They have agreed to extend another 30 days if necessary. And so this agenda item will just allow us to finalize that if it meets everyone's approval and allow us to have an extension if we need a little more time.
Second? Motion is second, roll call please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jared Reed?
Yes.
And Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 4, please.
Discuss and consider approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Muskogee City County Port Authority to collaborate in the preparation and presentation of a grant application to the City of Muskogee Foundation in the amount of $2 million and accept the funds if awarded and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the same or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller? Yes, so you have in the packet the MOU we've worked on with Port and their staff. Basically, it allows us to work together on a grant application with the City of Muskogee Foundation to use some foundation money to help with the burn project that is going on out of Port. If that grant is made, then we will work with the Port, make sure that they have the money to work with the contractor they've already hired, and then allow us to use CIP money as called for in the CIP for industrial site development. In addition to, because right now we've got the option in the CIP to use it for the burn project or industrial site development. Assuming we get this grant, we would then be able through this MOU to make sure that it's used for industrial site development moving forward. This is, we do have agreement with the Port staff that this is a good MOU to go forward with. Due to our timing, we have submitted a grant to the City of Muskogee Foundation. Economic Development Committee meets tomorrow morning. So the Port staff and I will be there to help present that. If you do not want us to do that, then we will not, but otherwise we would like to apply for that grant and make that presentation to the foundation tomorrow morning.
And we are, I guess, we have a limited timeline there.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and this is to meet some of the urgency of the vote. There is a video on our water treatment plant.
Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Move for approval.
You have a question?
No, I was going to move for approval.
You want to second it?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jared Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 5.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss matters pertaining to a proposed economic development project located in the Port of Muskogee, including an incentive request, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Mr. Manager.
So I think that would be the appropriate time to consider whether we go into executive session.
I think that's a good idea. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous? Jamie Stout? Deputy Mayor Jared Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Now reconvene in regular session. Roll call.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jared Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout. Here. Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
C.B. Abel.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Ms. Bodenhammer.
Thank you. Item number 5A, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25 Oklahoma Statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss matters pertaining to a proposed economic development project located in the port of Muskogee, including an incentive request, and there is no action necessary on this item.
Okay, no votes needed. Before we close, I would like to offer every gentleman here Happy Father's Day. And